Okay, young scientists, we're going to be reading a book called How the Earth System Explains Dinosaur Extinction by Ashley Chase. How could an asteroid kill the dinosaurs? No one exactly knows the answer to this question. Like, can an asteroid really have fallen on a dinosaur and killed all the dinosaurs? Probably not. Well, scientists have been studying this question for many years and they have different explanations. But all T-Rex probably didn't die because of an asteroid falling on them. The asteroid couldn't have fallen on every dinosaur that died. It's much more complicated than that. To explain how the asteroid could have caused so many different species to go extinct all over the world, scientists have to think about all of the Earth. They have to think about Earth as a system, a group of parts that interact with each other. This book describes one of the most widely accepted explanations of dinosaur extinction. This explanation can be supported by lots of evidence that scientists have found. There are other possible explanations, but this is the one that many scientists accept. Even if we don't know for sure that the asteroid caused the dinosaurs to go extinct, we do know a lot about the Earth systems and how they work. We know that all the parts are connected. So a giant asteroid hitting the Earth would affect all parts of the system. Looking at this rock, the scientists found evidence that a huge asteroid hit the Earth just before the dinosaurs went extinct. So we're going to be looking at the Earth system a little bit closer. But first, let's compare it to something we already know about. We're going to compare the Earth system to the human body system, right? Because our human body is a system of interacting parts, right? In a living body, parts like the heart, stomach, brain, and bones all work together to keep the person alive. The different body parts interact and affect each other. If a disease damages a person's heart, that damage will affect other body parts. In fact, it will affect the person's whole body system. Just like your body, Earth is a system. Like body parts, the parts of the Earth system interact and affect each other. A change in one part will affect the other parts, as well as the whole Earth system. To explain dinosaur extinction, we need to understand the different parts of the Earth system. The atmosphere, which is what you see when you look up, the geosphere, which is like the Earth itself, the rocks, the minerals, and the landforms, of the surface of the interior, right? And the hydrosphere, that's like the water, everything within the water, inside the water. That's where the fish live, in the hydrosphere. And the biosphere has to do with, the trees, the forests, anything where, there are living things, right? Like we live in the biosphere, right? So that is considered the biosphere where we live, where animals live as well, and trees. So the atmosphere, you probably already know, like I said, is a mixture of gases that make up the air surrounding the Earth. These gases are constantly moving and changing, producing wind and weather. The picture here is taken from space. Earth's atmosphere looks like a blue glow above the surface. And the geosphere, like I've told you, right? It's the solid part of the Earth, the rocky surface to its iron core. And here are some more pictures. You got mountains, landforms, and you have the Earth's surface that you can see there. Then you have like when volcanoes erupt, the materials from the geosphere that we usually can't see come to the surface like lava. which cools and hardens into rock. The other picture next to the lava, well, the volcano, shows it might look like what it might look like. It shows the Earth what it might look like um, if we could see the parts of the geosphere surface that are covered by the ocean. The hydrosphere is all the Earth's water. It includes the ocean, lakes, rivers, ponds, groundwater, glaciers, and more. So even groundwater, you see that? The ocean is the biggest part of the hydrosphere. Icy glaciers and other solid forms of water are parts of the hydrosphere as well. Lakes, rivers, streams, like I said, other parts of the hydrosphere. And then the water that seeps underground, can you believe that? Into the cracks that's underground. It's also part of the hydrosphere. The biosphere, well, it means life, like I told you. Animals, us, insects, wherever there can be life, that is considered the biosphere. Um, is made up of all living things on Earth. Living things on Earth come in all different shapes and sizes, but they're all part of the biosphere. Before dinosaurs went extinct, they were parts of the biosphere too. And as you can see from these illustrations, these are some examples of what is a part of the biosphere. Explaining extinction. Part 1. Changes to the geosphere. Here is how interactions in Earth's system could have led to the dinosaur extinction about 65 million years ago. A huge asteroid hit the Earth in parts of what is now known as Mexico. The asteroid blasted a deep crater in the spot where it landed. And it also caused changes to other parts of the Earth's geosphere. Volcanic eruptions began to increase. Lava, molten rock from deep underground, poured out of volcanoes. The lava covered hundreds of miles. Is the lava what killed the T-Rex? No. The lava covered a huge area, but it was small compared to the entire surface of the Earth. Hot lava did not kill every T-Rex on Earth. The explanation is more complicated than that. See the illustration? It shows what it might have looked like when the huge asteroid hit Earth 65 million years ago. Wow. Volcanic eruptions increased after the asteroid hit the Earth, and it created that crater. The picture, it's like imagining again what those eruptions might have looked like. And then below that is the map. It shows the largest area of lava flows, a big part of what is now India. Part 2. Changes in the atmosphere. Now, the asteroid's impact changed Earth's geosphere, but the changes didn't end there. When the asteroid hit, it blasted lots of dust and gases into the air. The volcanic eruptions also send out gases that have been trapped in the rock. These gases spread out and became parts of Earth's atmosphere. With so many eruptions happening at once, in addition to the massive asteroid impact, huge amounts of different gases entered the atmosphere. These gases changed the atmosphere, leading to very different weather. An artist created the image there of volcanic eruptions that happened after the asteroid hit. The eruption sent gases into the atmosphere, as you can see. Now, as you see, the geosphere can affect the atmosphere. The atmosphere can also affect the geosphere. Gases in the air make changes to rocks. Just being exposed to the air can make the surface of a rock change color over time. Moving air, wind, can make even bigger changes to rocks. Wind carves rocks into canyons, tower shapes. Wind can even help uncover fossils hidden in rock. Look at these two illustrations. Back to the explanation of extinction. An asteroid caused changes in the geosphere, lots of volcanic eruptions. The volcanic eruptions caused changes in the atmosphere. The gases that were released changed the weather for thousands of years. Did the dinosaurs die off just because they didn't like the new weather? No. The explanation is more complicated than that. Part 3, changes to the biosphere. When Earth's atmosphere changed and the weather became very different for thousands of years, those changes affected what types of plants could grow in different areas. Some plants went extinct. The whole habitats changed. For example, an area that had been a jungle might have turned into a desert. Changes in the plants that could survive meant changes in the animals that could survive because animals depend on plants. Even though it didn't eat plants, T. rex depended on other plants because it ate animals that ate plants. Plant animals and all other living things on Earth make up the biosphere. Changes to plants and plant eating animals meant that T. rex no longer had the habitat conditions it needed to survive. In the end, that's why T. rex went extinct. It was because of the whole series of complicated changes. An asteroid caused changes to the geosphere, which caused changes to the atmosphere, which caused changes to the biosphere, and killed off the T. rex. Look at the illustration below. An artist created this image picturing the habitat that the T. rex and many other dinosaurs depended on. Imagine that turning into a desert. Yeah. Part 4, changes to the hydrosphere. Okay, let's see. The space where, right, the area where there are living things living inside of the water space. There are parts of the Earth system we haven't mentioned, right? This is one of them. And now here, most of the water found in the ocean. When the asteroid struck, changes to the geosphere and atmosphere also caused changes in the hydrosphere. Ocean water temperature and the flow of the ocean's currents changed. These changes killed off huge numbers of species in the ocean at the same time that the T. rex and other species were extinct on land. A system of interacting parts. The different parts of the Earth system are all linked together. This is why we need to talk about the geosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and the biosphere to explain dinosaur extinction. Some scientists disagree with the asteroid explanations of dinosaur extinction. However, all scientists can agree that dinosaurs went extinct because changes to one part of the Earth system caused changes to the other parts, eventually making it impossible for species to survive. With any explanation of dinosaur extinction, you have to consider the Earth system. Fascinating. Everything in the biosphere, right, including dinosaurs when they were alive, depends on the rest of the Earth system. All life depends on gases from the atmosphere, water from the hydrosphere, and minerals from the geosphere, right, the Earth's surface. Changes to any part of the Earth system means changes to Earth's biosphere and all the living things that make it up. Look at the graph here. Hydrosphere affects the atmosphere, goes around in circles. They all affect each other in different ways, right? So here are some of the words that we learned. We have atmosphere, the air that surrounds the Earth, the biosphere, all the living things on Earth. Eruption is when lava comes out of a volcano. Evidence is information that supports answers to a question. Explain is to describe how something works or why something happens. An explanation is a description of how something works or why something happens. Extinct is no longer exist on Earth. Fossils are clues about life from the past that are preserved in rock. Geosphere is the solid part of the Earth. Groundwater, water that's found in the soil and rock underground. Habitat. That's the place where animals and plants live and gets what it needs, the habitat. Hydrosphere, it's all of the liquid water on Earth and the ice as well. Interact is to affect one another, right? To interact. Species, a group of organisms that are closely related to each other. Species. System, a group of parts that work together. A system, like the Earth system. Or, like we learned, the body system.